I am Laura Daniel, and welcome to Laura Loves New York. I have some amazing guests with me today. They are known as the Herb Sisters, the Twisted Sisters. This is Tina Sams and Maryanne Schwartz.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello. Now, we have known each other for 26 years.
Yeah.
My husband and I met the sisters when we were hired for the acting troupe at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Tina and Maryanne ran the herb shop, and they did so beautifully. From there, they blasted off and built their own businesses. Maryanne created Lancaster County Soap Works, and she and Tina create these luscious soaps for that company. And Tina created the magazine, The Essential Herbal, which hosts herbal writers from all over the country.
We started out with 60 subscribers, and I got it printed at work. There was no money in it. I didn't have any money either. So however many subscriptions I sold, that was what that magazine looked like the next issue. It was novel. It was kind of novel at the time.
It started as a black and white magazine that turned into a confection of color. The layout is by Maryanne. There are also 3 books that are compilations of the magazine, and The Essential Herbal has nearly 75,000 followers on Facebook.
So, your new book, Herbal Medicine for Emotional Healing,
which is now available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and on essentialherbal.com.
I gotta say, this book blew my mind. It really did. It's such a good book. This book includes 31 herbs that you've highlighted. The pictures are gorgeous. It's so accessible where you go, oh God, I wanna play with this. I wanna try this. Getting back to nature to help heal emotional challenges. And let's face it, this is a very challenging time right now.
Right now in the world, adaptogens are incredibly important. So that would be holy basil, astragalus. Because what they do is they help us process stress. They help all of our body systems just deal with all this crap. So holy basil has been a favorite of mine for at least 10 years.
Yep, you turned me onto it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And elderberry is another one of my favorites.
Here we have some elderflowers, which will eventually develop into elderberries, but the flowers are also antiviral. They help with water retention, and they're great on your skin.
But I think that nature is there for this kind of time.
I love that. And I'm flashing back to your herb shop where you had canister after canister of all this cool stuff. And even though it was so comfortable and wonderful to be around it, I still had a little bit of tentativeness, which is crazy because I love essential oils and I'll make my oils and that's from the herbs. So to read this and go, what if I get a few of these things and make my own tea? I think this is the first time in reading.
Wow.
Yes,
Really?
It's the very first time.
That's the whole point. That's what we do.
Yeah, and that's another thing I love about the book is you say start small. Try one herb and see how your body reacts to it. Tina, I know that you talk about using the whole herb. Can you explain a little bit about what you mean by that? Because some people will just cut pieces and go, but you really respect the whole.
Well, it's actually a little bit more than that too. Is that like St. John's wort is a perfect example. The whole plant offers
it's a symphony.
It's a symphony. So it's important to not pull out one chemical because that's a drug. Then you're just taking a drug.
There's so many great things in this book that are just so helpful, but that you say work with your doctor, I thought was so important. Because you also say, hey, yeah, if you're having heart issues, you're not just going to take an herb. You really want to talk to your doctor.
See, that's one of my really a pet peeve because we hear that all the time. It's like, oh, I don't like regular medicine. It's like, you need it.
Yeah.
It's
like they work together.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that people feel like it has to be black or white.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. They're friends.
It's funny. Since I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I'm controlling it with diet. I'm really fortunate. But one of the things that I'm doing is taking cinnamon,
All right.
and I feel like it's helping to keep everything, level.
Yeah.
Cinnamon, just plain cinnamon.
Well, I take cinnamon capsules, and
Because the quantity is hard to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
And-
amazing.
yeah. I mean, there are things like that, and then I love my garlic. I make garlic honey, and I eat it. When I'm feeling at all threatened, I'll take garlic honey.
She does that when I do it, elderberry.
Yeah. Well, I take elderberry too.
Oh, that was something I thought was fascinating was you had the section on depression. And one of the first things that you talked about was taking care of your, not just your inside body, but your physical body.
I wasn't sure that my publisher was going to go for that, my editor, because they really wanted, psychological stuff. And I just put that in there and thought, I'm going to leave that there. And they didn't flinch.
You call it in the book, you call it body care for self-esteem.
Right.
It made sense because depression also comes from so much stress. So if there's something that's just going to soothe, that's also going to help. It's shifting the consciousness.
One of Tina's after bath oils included sage, and I really loved that because it made me feel like a giant smudge stick.
It's interesting. Lady Gaga came out with suffering from depression and chronic pain, and she talked about just those simple steps of getting up, taking a shower.
When you get a shower after a couple days, it's like, oh, so much better. Why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
You're treating yourself and making yourself feel special.
Yeah.
And you start to feel really not special after a few days of not caring.
Mhm.
You need to realize that you are important.
Oh, I wanted to say I love that you include personal stories. Within this is why I used this. Like there was a great one on grief and heartbreak.
You have a lot of experience with that.
Aw, honey. Because you've seen so much change in the herb business, do you have an idea of what you think it might evolve into?
But what I would like to see is I would like to see people know herbs. Like when you go to the grocery store, you want sugar because it's sweet, and you want flour because it's going to make bread, and you want broccoli because it's good for you, and you want oranges because of the vitamin C. And I would like people to know that about herbs, so that when they go and look at an herb shop, I need some echinacea, I need some chamomile, and I've been feeling kind of queasy, I think I'll get some ginger. That's the way I think it should be.
It's funny, one of the things in reading this book, my husband was like, oh my gosh, he's like, I want to be an herbalist when I grow up,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I would love to say, what advice would you give to someone who wants to go into the field of herbalism?
Well, there are certainly a million places to learn now. There really are. There are tons of schools online. Most of them are online. There aren't too many in person, but there.
Lots of books.
No kidding.
But what you do have to do also is just kind of do it.
Yeah.
And get into it.
Yeah.
And try it.
Trust yourself
and
a little bit.
we did so much of that. It's like, what if this really works? Let's try it. And we would, and it did.
One of the things I love is that you also include a bunch of sources at the end of the book.
If you want to get into making your own tinctures and teas, Tina recommends the Rosemary House, which has everything under the sun, and also Mountain Rose Herbs.
You're also, a big proponent of finding an herbal community of people to talk to, so that the people know you don't have to be the lone herbalist in that. There's a huge community out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest lesson I've gotten from you in creating the Essential Herbal magazine and creating your books is it's a community. We are all in this together. So let's help each other out through this life with, shared knowledge. I always ask everybody on my show, if you had any advice you would tell your younger self, what would it be?
Personally, start earlier, and menopause is a bitch. And
As Tina and Maryanne would say, there's an herb for that. And Tina recommends valerian and motherwort, especially for hot flashes.
yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah.
What about you?
Start earlier and don't be afraid.
How would you advise somebody who wanted to make a business of working with herbs? It's possible, because I see you guys have done it, but
So you would have an education, figure out what direction you want to go.
Find your niche.
Yeah, and realize the odds of you getting wealthy are very slim. But you'll be very happy.
so you gotta love it. You gotta love what you do.
Yeah. How important plants are. I mean, they're everything to us.
Really important. I mean, one of the things I love about your products, I love about your soap. I am a huge fan. I was spritzing the lilac spray around my apartment, because being stuck here in New York, I'm like, I'm missing my lilacs in the country. This is the lilac that I was spraying the other day. So good. And then this is one of my favorites, Wise Woman.
Yeah.
And you can get these spritzes on essentialherbal.com or LancasterCountySoapers.com. and everyone go check out
Herbal Medicine for Emotional Healing here.
Please go check out this book. It truly is life-changing. It's an awesome book. And you dedicate it to your partner in herbal adventures.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done so much together. Thank you guys so much for being on Laura Loves New York. I will see you next time. I'm heading to Pennsylvania as soon as I can.
Okay.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Hello!